is like a dream. You and I standing wild and free with petals so.
Hey guys, like I've been mentioning for the past couple of weeks, today I am finally coming here to talk about the Kobo Libra Colour. When I say talk about, I kind of mean gush about my favorite features, some tips and tricks. I bought this, well, Black Friday, but it was actually the week before Black Friday because you know how things are these days. Everything is a week before or a month before things actually happen. So I've been using it pretty hard for the last while, trying it out, and I just keep coming away realizing how much I love this little device. And if you have not watched my other videos, giving like brief little backstory here, I have historically not been an ebook reader. I have tried many times, I have wanted to be, but it hasn't stuck. I did a video during the month of December sharing different e-readers that I had tried and also sharing this one a bit, the pros and cons on the different e-readers with my experience at that point. And today I just want to focus on this incredibly light but powerful little device. So like I said, I do have the Kobo Libra Colour. Right now it is in sleeping mode. Got this beautiful edition of Lady Susan here, which I actually already read this month and thought was amazing. Hilarious. I've never loved to hate a character so much. I'm not sure if the color part of the Kobo Libra Colour is actually necessary. I was really excited about it. I love that my covers can be in color, and I keep picking ones that don't have a whole lot of color to share here. Maybe I'll get one that has a little bit more color and I can show that to you yet as well. But if you read a lot of graphic novels or different things that have color, or if you really like to highlight in color, the color can be useful. But otherwise, the black and white version might be the way to go. I would still stick with the Kobo Libra and just do the black and white version, but a lot of what I say will also apply to that device. It just won't have the color. But personally, I quite love the color, and it's not that much more expensive, so it was an easy choice for me, especially being a booktuber and taking a lot of pictures and videos of the books that I'm reading. It's really nice to have some color on there. So minor, but it was a great pick for me. At this point, I do not have the pen. Now you can get a specific pen for this device and you can like actually annotate on the device. I am conflicted on whether or not I want to get one. I originally loved the idea of it, but I have since heard that you need to keep your font size the same in order for the annotations to stay at the same spot, which totally does make sense to me. But I've noticed a lot of books have very different font sizes, so I'm often adjusting. So I'm not sure if that would be something that I would really like. If you have the pen, let me know. Is it worth it? Should I get one? I wouldn't need much convincing to get one. Since I got this in the end-ish of November, I've honestly like preferred reading books on here. I still have a bunch of physical books I want to read and get through, and I've had to like intentionally like put this down for a little bit so that I can read some physical books. I don't even know who I am anymore. It's crazy, but I'm glad for it because after moving I realized, you know, books are heavy. I really realized. And with travel, not that I do a ton of it, but a little bit, like this is so easy to take along. So let's get into my favorite features, tips, tricks, etc. about the Kobo Libra / the Colour. None of the tricks are really like color specific, so they would work for black and white as well. First of all, my favorite thing, one of my favorite things for sure, is the ability to show the cover of the book on the screen. This, back in the day when I had a Kindle, that was a very long time ago, you couldn't put the covers of the books on the front, and you can on the Kindle as well. But I would forget what I was reading. Now I'm always reminded, oh yeah, this is the book that I have on the go. So this makes me pick it up a lot easier. Remembering what's going on, I really love that feature. I also love the ability, most e-readers do this, but to go from dark mode to whatever the opposite of dark mode is, turn dark mode off. I really like dark mode for when I'm reading at night, so before bed I'll set it to dark mode, but during the day I really like the white regular mode. Personal preference, but really like that. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to go for the Kobo Libra is because of the buttons. Partially to just this button section makes this really easy to hold. It is very intuitive to the hand. I love it. And then it's really easy to click the button to the next page. So definitely love that. When I shared my talk about the different types of e-readers, my video last month, someone asked about the buttons, and they didn't realize that you can also just tap the screen to change the page as well. So you can use either the buttons or the tap, either works. In the settings, you can also choose where you want the page buttons, if you want to tap, how you want to adjust the controls. So right now I have it on the right side of the screen is next page, left side is back a page, middle is bring up the information, reading menu it's called, but you have multiple different options of how you can set that up if you want. One of the things I didn't realize going into the Kobo, one of the features that it has that I wasn't aware of, is so you can lock it in portrait mode. So if you're lying in bed, it's not going to go vertically, landscape mode. But what I really like is, so if I'm lying one way and I want to read like this, that's great. But if I want to lie the other way and use these as my buttons now, it's still locked in portrait mode, but I can use it either way. And so the bottom one is the next page button and the top one is the previous page button. Love this feature. So to lock the portrait screen or unlock it if you want, you just go into your settings here, scroll down to the second page here, and you just lock it on portrait, or you could do landscape if you want, or let it auto rotate, but I really like the portrait. I use that all the time. If I'm lying in bed and like one arm gets sore, then I just switch it over. So smart. I had no idea that that was actually going to be a thing and work, but it does. Another one of the settings I like to adjust at bedtime is the brightness of my book. Super easy to do. You just have to hit the brightness button there and you can make it brighter or less bright. I love that the buttons are very intuitive, very easy to use. I like to have mine set so that it shows me how many pages are left in my current chapter and then how many pages are left in the book. This is on the bottom and the other one's on the top. That's also adjustable in the settings. One thing you can't do with a Kobo is see the clock, which I could see being a downside for some people, but for me, I'm actually finding to be a positive thing. As long as I don't have to go somewhere, and if I have to go somewhere, I can set myself a timer or something, but I'm not constantly looking at the time, and I really appreciate it. You can easily tap and see the time, and then it shows up in the top corner, but it's not necessary to see the time constantly, so it's actually positive for me. As someone that had a decent amount of ebooks on my computer from a variety of different sources, legally obtained ebooks I should mention, it was really nice that I could just sideload all those books onto my Kobo via Google Drive. So you can create a folder for your Kobo, get it connected, and then they automatically come on here. That's how I initially did it. And then I kind of found a bit of a better way, but they do have, you could either use Google Drive or Dropbox to load books on. But personally, after a little bit of trial and error and figuring things out, I learned that my favorite way to load books on here is through a software program called Calibre. So it's a free download. You can put all your books on there, and here is where things get really good because so like my Lady Susan here that I have, I call her my Lady Susan because, you know, it was a great book and she's on my Kobo here. I got this download from Project Gutenberg, which has a lot of, pretty much all the free classics out there that you can download for free. but they either don't have covers or they have terrible covers. So I went and found this cover online, and using Caliber, you can go in and edit the cover that's going to display, which is also really great for a lot of times when I get books from NetGalley, they don't have covers that display well, or like any kind of cover, and then you can't tell what the book is called, what it's about, anything like that. So I have loved Caliber for that reason. Since I started using it, that is the only way that I load books onto here. If you guys are interested, I can do a whole video explaining how I put the books on from Caliber, how I edit the covers, etc., how I organize my books on there. I can totally do a video on that. There are some others out there too if you want to search, but if you're interested in seeing one from me, let me know. Another feature that I love on the Kobo is you can just kind of swipe down and it will show you your recently opened books, which is very handy if you are flipping between multiple ebooks. This was always my problem previously when reading ebooks, is I often like to have multiple books on the go, but I would forget what I was all reading, and now it's just easy to just swipe down and flip back and forth between my current reads. I should also mention the battery. So I charged the battery for this on December 20 something, so it's been a good, let me figure it out. Okay, so I charged the battery 3 weeks ago. It is currently at 34%. I used this right after I charged it. We drove out to Saskatchewan for Christmas. That's a 5.5 hour drive. I was pretty much using this the whole time when I wasn't passing kids snacks back and forth. And then we drove back for another 5.5 hours, pretty much reading the entire time. I've read multiple books on here since then, and I'm still at 34%. So in like a decently heavy usage month, maybe it would last a month, which I think is probably lower than what it advertises, but that's way more than a person needs. These days, if you're gonna even go on a trip, maybe, you know, like you're on flights. We've had some long haul flights over the years. We've flown to Uganda, we've flown to South Africa. Those are long flights where you're traveling for more than 24 hours. But even then you could charge something in an airport, but let's say you didn't. You're not really gonna go more than a weekend without access to a plug-in. Not that you wanna be charging things that frequently, but I'm just saying the battery is gonna last longer than a person really needs it to, but it's really nice. I'm glad that when I pick it up, it's not dead every time like my Fire tablet was. I have much more warning before I need to charge it than I did with that. I also really like their collections. So on the home screen, you can adjust, you can go to My Books, and then you can either sort by books, by authors, by series, which those are all great, or collections. And I have created currently 4 collections for myself. I'm thinking about doing a monthly one as well, but I have my classics, my unread priority books, my unread ARCs, and currently my winter TBR. And these are the books that I kind of want to focus on for the next little while. So if I go into my winter TBR, these are the books that I shared in my winter TBR video, or ones that I have since added. I think they were almost all in my video. And then I can go into my unread ARCs and see the books that I need to be reading for various arcs that I said that I would read. This has been really great at helping me kind of sort through my books. I will probably add more collections as the time goes on. Like I said, I might do one for each monthly TBR as well, just to kind of like focus in on the ones I really want to read. But it's been really good. And if you go into my classics, I think I got all of these books from Project Gutenberg, and I found my favorite covers for them online that I could find and uploaded those via Caliber. So definitely really like that feature. Another cool feature that the Kobo has is they have reading stats. Now, because not all the books I'm importing are Kobo ebooks, some of them are just regular EPUBs, not Kobo EPUBs. They aren't all able to kind of collect the data. I don't really know how that works, but for some of them I can. So when you're currently reading a book, you can come in and see these cool stats, how long you've been reading it, your average pages per session and per minute, and then you've got your like all items stats here. I just think that's really cool. And then Kobo also has something similar to Kindle Unlimited. It's called Kobo Plus. I just got a link for a free 30-day free trial, which I'm tempted to start. The thing is, the Kobo Plus is not as large of a catalog as Kindle Unlimited, which in some ways can be seen as a negative, but in other ways can be seen as a positive because it's not as overwhelming and I can just get it for a month, really focus on these books that are in the Kobo Plus catalog, and then cancel it for a while instead of continually having it and kind of being overwhelmed and not reading any of the books. So it has its positives and its negatives, but I want to give the 30-day free trial a try, a really good try, and see if I can get some use out of it, and then see how many books that are part of that I don't get to read that I would want to read, like maybe it would be worth getting it again. I also really like highlighting in color. Just like my annotating, it doesn't necessarily mean something when I highlight one line in one color and another line in another color, but I really like using different colors, so that is a part for me where the color is just a lot of fun. And one more feature that I really love is when I'm currently reading a book, this is actually my current read, Dark Fell, when it's sleeping, it tells you how far into the book you are. So I am currently 8% in. I started it at 3 in the morning last night, or whatever that is, 3 in the morning, 3 in the night, and read 8%. So I really like that feature because to me that is the equivalent of having a physical book there and having your bookmark in there and seeing how many pages through you are. It's very satisfying. And if it's a Kobo EPUB book, it will actually tell you the amount of time it thinks that you have left as well. This one isn't, so it doesn't know, but it's kind of still cool just to see the percentage there. So after, what has it been now? Almost 2 months of having my Kobo. There are some things I really love about it. These are my top things, I think, unless I probably forgot something like really obvious, but it's super lightweight, easy to take with me. The battery life is great. It's been making me read more, which isn't really one of my goals for the year, but I'm not gonna complain about it. And I just really enjoy using it. So highly recommend getting one if you guys have been on the fence. It's been working really great for me, so can't say enough good things. If you guys have any specific questions about it, leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. I hope that this video was helpful for you in some way. Thanks for listening to me as I rave about my Kobo.